98, so it's probably 98 or 99, I would imagine. But just looking in the cab, you can see there's a lot of older controls. You see wiring sticking out down at the bottom. And part of that is the way it was built at the time. Again, these things are all custom built for the most part, so they're plugging stuff in and changing wiring around. But you can see, obviously down here you get all the rust.
So at this point in 2016, I mean, it's hard to keep this thing rolling and on the road then.
I don't know this particular truck's history. But maybe not. I mean, we look at service logs for trucks, and if they start to get to where it's costing a lot, then we start considering taking them out of service. So most of the ones that are in service still, again, like I mentioned earlier, if it's an older truck, there's probably a reason it's an older truck. It's probably a pretty good truck. These are the saddle tanks. They carry the brine mix with the beet juice. That's the pre-wet. You've got obviously tubing that's subject to clogging. They come down. They've got nozzles in there that spray down on here that pre-wet the salt. Actually, they spray it up here coming off of the chain. You can see the chain. You can see the steel is all rusted out. This is a moving part that requires a lot of lubrication.
It's a conveyor belt that pulls the sand down? Is that what that
is? The chain pulls the salt out. The salt then drops down into here. There's a spinner there.
Yeah.
Now this unit right here spins. That's what actually shoots the salt out. These are the pre-wet hoses right here. So the nozzles are in there that pre-wet it. And all moving parts, all subject to problems.
These side tanks hold the brine, and these are, is that right?
These hold this is a brine and beet juice mix.
Okay.
And what that is it's a pre-wet. So when salt only activates with water, so we want to get it wet first. It does two things. Number one, it starts to activate the salt so it can work to melt the snow and ice. Gotcha. Number two, it helps it to stick.
Okay.
So when it's wet, it'll stick to the pavement instead of getting moved off by the wheel force and the traffic.
How much?
There's chains in the back. Those can go wrong sometimes. These are chains. The operator pushes a button and it'll spread those chains out, and give the traction on the truck.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
How much harder is it for you guys to get the roads ready for traffic when the storm conditions don't let you pre-treat?
I don't know that I can quantify that. It's not really a lot hard. It just kind of really depends on the temperature. If that temperature drops really fast, then we're going to have ice build up at the bottom of that. If we didn't pre-treat that, that's a problem. The thing with the brine, and I don't think a lot of people understand this. I think there's kind of this concept that's a magic bullet. We put brine down, and it's just going to melt all the snow as it comes down. Yeah. Brine's really only going to melt about 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch of snow that falls on it. Okay. What it does is it keeps a layer there between the snow and the pavement that makes it so that ice isn't really bonding to the pavement, so that when we come by with the plows, it's a little easier to peel up. Okay. Well, if we're dealing with warmer temperatures, and you're 30 degrees and you've got snow on the pavement, maybe we didn't brine it because it rained on the front side. It's still warm enough down there that you're not really getting big ice formation, and it still peels up fairly easy.
Gotcha.
So again, that brine's not there to melt the snow as it falls. It's there to create a layer there that allows for easier removal.
Okay. All right. See, I think a lot of people think it's that magic bullet.
I think so too. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
This is a single axle truck. What we ordered yesterday, we had 4 tandem axles and 2 single axle trucks.
Okay.
That was part of our budget allotment for 2016.
Yeah. And what's the difference in performance or anything?
A single axle truck is a little more maneuverable. It's a shorter, smaller vehicle. It's not as heavy. It can't hold as much weight in the back. Let's see if I can find one. Tandem axle truck's a little bigger, a little heavier unit. They use them on your bigger, more highway type streets. Like our tandems we'll use a lot on West Dodge, where we've got big straight stretches. Maple's a good example where we put a tandem. West Center Road, places like that.
Do you guys plow Dodge Expressway like past 120?
No.
That's the state?
Yeah.
Okay, where it turns into a freeway.
Right.